There's an absolute cause-effect between strong churches and strong families. A thriving church and a healthy family go together like this. And here's why. Strong churches don't make strong families. Strong families make strong churches. And until church leaders figure this out, they're always going to be playing catch-up ball. They're never going to get ahead. Now, to a certain extent, all of our churches have to play a certain role of like an emergency room for the broken and battered of life. Whosoever will may come. Of course, we want to care for them. And some, especially churches that are placed in certain parts of the city or whatever, there might be incredible human need, hunger, clothing, medical needs. Of course, you do that. And then I think there, even in well-off areas of town, there's still a lot of broken and battered, hurting people. So there's always the emergency room role of the church. But if a church really wants to thrive and have a generational impact and have much more of an eternal impact, then we've really got to be deliberate about, as a church, we want to equip our families to take Jesus home. My favorite definition of the family is from the late Pope John Paul. In one of his things that he wrote, he referred to the family as a domestic church. He says it's the smallest church out there. That all a local church is a collection of domestic churches. And think about when people come to church, come to our churches on Sunday. Oftentimes my wife and I are, or at least every once in a while, we serve as greeters at our church. And when we see them come, and they all look similar because they come from the same gene pool, or they come from the same car, they came from the same home. And so it behooves us as a church to be very deliberate about what we're doing so that when they go home, for the 2 hours they're with us, they have 6 point some days left as a team out there. The more we can embed Christ into the home in an active way where they're carrying the spiritual heavy water as parents and as a couple, the more they're bringing an asset to church rather than a liability. We want families showing up for church, bringing their family to church on full, not on empty. And the more we do that, now we really have something to offer to the people that don't have anything. They don't have Christ, or they don't have much of a family structure. We can do that more. So there's a clear cause effect. And that's why we cannot be accidental about family ministry in our churches. And by the way, family ministry is not something that's done by just the family pastor. It's done by everybody in a church. And probably the most critical family pastor in a church is the senior pastor, because his attitude and how he sees the role of family determines everything about as far as how much impact his church is going to make.